Out on the Lanai, our special spot. When the sun goes down, if it's not too hot, it's where we laugh, it's where we dream, where sisterhood's always our thing. We talk it out, we sip our wine. Our Gen X hearts still hold the line. The world may change, but not our ways. We've got each other through our days. Out on the Lanai, wine glasses with a healthy pour, sharing every joy and every pain. Outside, right next to the pool, full truth is our own new rule. Never anything we have to explain.
Hey, we're live.
Hi.
Happy Wednesday night. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Out on the Lanai, episode 3. So we made it to 3. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Has it been 3 already?
So 3.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did the one on the Lanai, but it's still too hot
It was,
to go out on the Lanai, and we're just much more comfortable in here. So
it is. It's easier to just kind of be here. So
yes.
we were going to do a show on immigration and the Equal Rights Amendment. We're going to push that off for a week so we can have some guests with us that actually are going to add a lot more depth than we could just by ourselves. So apologies for that. Instead, we're going to talk about kind of some childhood stuff, do a little nostalgia trip, bring out the good old Rubik's Cube, which is, you can see I'm really good at. Talk about the games we played, which is a kind of a fun topic. As always, please join us and comment. And if we can, we'll add things on the show. And we're going to premiere. It's only going to be us playing tonight, but we are going to premiere the trivia game that you can play with us starting next week live. And then after that, we're going to be gone for, is it one show or 2 shows? We're
2 because we go for 10 days. We'll be in the Emerald Isle. We'll be in Ireland.
So we have an excuse.
And we'll bring back pictures, but I don't think maybe some video. We'll put in some video, like maybe from the Guinness.
Jamie yelling at me, get away from the cliff, Vicki! Don't fall over the cliff.
No falling over cliffs.
Yeah, we're going to see some. They're not fjords. What are they called? I guess just cliffs.
Cliffs.
The cliffs. Yeah. Whatever.
Mm-hmm. But Dennis did find something interesting about a tour that you can do in a castle with Irish wolfhounds. Like they have them, and you can go on the tour of the castle with the Irish wolfhounds, which I've never seen one in person. I've only seen pictures.
Do you need protection in the castle that would require it?
Maybe.
Wolfhound?
I don't know. Maybe.
We'll find out. So we'll do that. We really are glad to have everyone with us, and thank you for the great viewership last round. We're not really doing this for anything. We're not trying to go majorly viral. We're just wanting to share and talk and work through some stuff. And in this case, just share a little bit of our kind of nostalgic Gen X history. So
it's the best time.
Yeah. Games. What games did you play as a child, right? So when we were talking about this, for us, we had TV times. So in the morning there was a little TV period. At the end of the day there was a TV period.
Like the after school special types, like after school. Yeah.
Yeah, we were the pre-Nickelodeon generation. So
there wasn't all day programming for kids. It
No.
was what you were limited to Saturday morning cartoons.
And when the news came on, your like TV time was ruined.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were lucky and it was summer, you could go back out, play with your friends for another till your mom started screaming. We were supposed to be in by the time the street lights came on,
Yes,
but
that is true.
we very seldom, if ever, did that.
No, last week we were talking about PSAs and how they had to have a broadcast every night at 10 p.m. telling parents, you know, where your children are. So that kind of attests to the fact that we weren't home by signing.
And they need a reminder to think about us. That's what sucks, right? When it's like, oh yeah, and oh, we have kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not here. Where
Did
are
they eat? Are they here?
Yeah, true. But we did. I remember having sick days from school and being able to stay home, and then you could watch like The Price is Right or like General Hospital or whatever the hell was on TV. It was usually game shows during the day.
For me, it would start out with cartoons, and then it would go into Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible runs. Then it was I Love Lucy, and that's where a lot of my concepts of friendship come from, right?
I Love Lucy was a good show.
It was, and it holds up. It's funny. It's one of Lisa's favorites.
I used to watch at night The Twilight Zone because I had one of those little tiny little TVs in black and white in my room when I was little. And the only other thing that would come on at night would be The Honeymooners.
Right.
I don't know if I learned such great values from The Honeymooners, but maybe that I didn't want a marriage like that. To the moon, Alice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember watching
Pow, right? Or
six.
Yeah. And Mission Impossible and The Outer Limits. Now, The Outer Limits always freaked me out. We have control of your TV. Do not adjust your set. And I would take that shit seriously. So it was like,
well, we were little kids and no one told us otherwise.
I had nightmares, so I didn't sleep a lot as a child. And so they had sometimes on certain channels, usually not the major networks, the smaller independents, they would have movies till dawn, which actually would only go till like 3 a.m. And then it was all test patterns and,
oh yeah, the
static.
beeping and that it would
So
go off at
yeah.
yeah.
So that's
One point I recall it. I think it was at night the Star Spangled Banner would come on.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the flag would wave.
yeah.
And then it would just like that was it. And then everyone basically you're being told you need to turn your TV off.
I didn't get up to salute in the middle of the night.
No,
so not much
no,
has
no,
changed.
No.
And I am patriotic. But I am not going to.
That's almost like indoctrination. Why would they even play? Who came up with that? That play the Star Spangled Banner as we fade out every night. It was bizarre.
How's everybody doing tonight? Good. Send us some comments. Remember to add your name. Let's talk about games.
Okay.
Games we played. So,
well, you mentioned cartoons, and we were talking earlier on how our generation was really the very first generation where you had those cartoons and they had specific advertising targeting kids specifically in those time slots. And so like actually just advertising and marketing to us as kids.
Yeah. And around Christmas it got worse, right? It was around, we would see the same commercials over and over, at least when I was little, until around Christmas, and then all the toy makers had their stuff out. Okay, avoided the bad word. So and we talked about one that was always on TV, Hungry Hippos.
Oh,
I hated that game.
I hate that game.
It was loud, it was obnoxious, the marbles were always flying in.
Even some of these games, as we talked about earlier too, some of these games have like stood the test of time because you talk about games like Monopoly, Scrabble, Uno. Uno is a game that my students love that game. I can tell you at the end of the school year, everybody brings in decks of Uno and they play in class because there's nothing left to do. It's like almost summer break. And so some of those games kind of like never really go away. They kind of stay.
Yeah. And they get repackaged. I mean, how many times and how many different versions of Monopoly have you seen or Clue?
Okay, can we bring this up? Because I have it right here. Does anybody remember Operation? All right.
I suck at Operation, by the way. I don't have a steady hand. I have never had, since I was a kid, I never had a steady hand.
Well, Operation has definitely rebranded because as you can see, this is Toy Story 3. I did have the other version, which was Shrek, although it didn't work. So I brought this one instead. But the original one was just like the guy, and he had like, the appendix and like his heart.
And he was a really fat, not taking good care of himself guy.
Like a clown.
Kind of like Shrek.
Yeah, true.
So again, favorite games, bring them up. Let's talk about them. It's weird. We're not really seeing. I know people are trying to comment because I see stuff, but it's not coming through. This is why you need to sign up for our new website. We have a chat room specifically set aside out on the LanaiShow.com. Please go sign up. By next week, you'll be able to play trivia with us at the end of the show. And we have a live chat room, and you can watch the show there live as well every week. So it's all in one place. You are welcome to sign up on, and of course, we would like it if you would sign up on YouTube or Facebook as well, because that helps us just talk to more people. But
Let's talk video games.
oh,
Because video games were part of our lives, for sure. I think Gen X, probably, we were the beginning of video games, although they look radically different now.
yeah. So
But
I
that's
was
the beginnings.
I was 7 years old when the first Mattel handheld video games came out. So those were some of the first, like, okay, the first video game we had in our house was Pong, and it was awful.
It was the first video game, so
But it was a Magnavox Pong, and it literally was an orange box about this big, and you had knobs on this side that you had to turn that didn't really respond very well. We also had the first cartridge system, which was called a Fairchild, and it had a weird controller in that it was this big stick that
like a joystick.
but it wasn't. It was just the little top moved, and you could pop the top, and it was very hard to play. But then along came Japanese innovation, and we got the
Nintendo. And the Nintendo was for me, was the only. I mean, I didn't play Pong. I mean, there was Sega and stuff like that. Atari, Coleco. Was it Coleco? Was it a weird systeming thing?
But that all came after it.
Yeah, Nintendo was the gaming system to have in the 80s for sure. I didn't know anyone that didn't play it.
Right.
It came with the two games. It came with Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt for me, and I remember Duck Hunt very well. I love Super Mario Brothers. We talked earlier about how everybody used to blow into those cartridges, and we thought we were doing some like miraculous thing, but you actually were wrecking the cartridges by blowing moisture into them. I had said that I used to take the Duck Hunt gun,
I used to
shove it in. Well,
because we had computer stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I didn't have computer stuff, so we would shove the cartridge in after we blew in it, of course, and then we would take the Duck Hunt gun and then wedge it in there above the cartridge to keep it down. But my go-tos were always Super Mario Brothers and Zelda. But
yeah. Oh, I loved Zelda.
I loved Zelda too.
Legend of Zelda, and it came with the gold cartridge.
Yes, it did.
That was amazing.
Dennis still has it. I should have brought it because he has it upstairs. I know he does. But I think what we were trying to kind of come up with and that we were discussing was the fact yes, the game systems now are much more advanced, and obviously with AI and technology and all that stuff. But we did not spend all day long playing on the Nintendo.
No.
We would play maybe a couple hours. It may be a couple hours. I don't even think we played that long with your friends.
And usually at night, it was usually at night. If we had, especially if we had a sleepover, then
yes,
the games that were a big deal then. My family would play video games somewhat.
I did it
sort of, and then get frustrated and throw stuff, which is why we were always replacing things. But anyways.
We didn't play all that. We played for like a short period of time, and then we would go outside and play. It wasn't something that was like mind altering, like addiction that you had to play all day long and not get up. I mean, you see some of the things now, like some of these kids, not my kids, but some kids, they're like literally not sleeping because all they do is play video games. I think we saw that more with like Fortnite and that kind of stuff where it's interactive.
Halo is with so. From the computer, I was in the computer world from the early 80s, actually earlier than the 80s, which is kind of sad.
It's not sad, you're just a nerd.
Yeah, but so Doom was and you had to have a Unix-based or Linux-based box. You could load up Doom, and that was the first kind of first-person shooter, kind of working your way through stuff, and stuff would fight back with you. By the time we got to Halo and the Xbox, it really changed things, and I still prefer a good old fashioned scroller. We talked about Super Mario Brothers.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know, jumping, hitting boxes, all good, right? And so I'm actually looking forward to going and seeing Nintendo World at
So am I. So am I. Because it's like Donkey Kong and it's like all those the games that we grew up with.
yeah.
I'm like you. I like to play for fun, but like I get bored. I can't. That's why the show is a half an hour, by the way, because I cannot sit still for. You're lucky you get me for a half an hour. I can't sit still. But I think the video games were just different. We just didn't feel. I don't know if they were compelling because we wanted to play them. Everybody wanted to have them, but we just
They
also wanted to go out and play with our friends.
yeah, and okay, so like Pitfall and some of the Activision games that came out, which were for the Atari 2600, and the Intellivision, which were the game units that came that were really more advanced. But for a while, they actually were doing well and then crashed the video game market. But for us, we weren't obsessed. You know,
No.
it was you.
But there was really, I mean, come on.
You didn't save things. You had to put in a code to get back to where you were.
And if you died or somebody pulled out your thing, that was it. You'd be pissed and you're like, oh, okay, like we'd have to start again.
Yeah. But it really was true. They were a supplement to things. They weren't
Everything.
our be all end all.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like the same with you were saying with arcades. I mean, like
Oh, yeah.
arcades are such nostalgic places to go now, but like
The first
it's so
time
long you can play.
first time I played Pac-Man was in a pizza parlor because there were no arcades. There were games that really, you know, kind of defined things. Pong was in pizza parlors. Space Invaders was in pizza parlors. Asteroids was
Pac-Man.
yeah. And we have an arcade downstairs that plays all of the classic games.
Yeah, we have one in our we have like Mortal Kombat. We have an entire thing in our game room.
Oh, I love the Mortal Kombat.
I never played it.
But-
I know this,
But I never remembered the special, like I could never do those. Combinations of stuff. Yeah. So we were never into it to that level.
No.
So now my younger brother, he would have to play a game to get every single bonus point and every single everything. And he, you know, to this day is like all messed up because of that. He had to play all the way through every single variation of a game. I never did that. If I got to the end of the game, I was like, cool.
Yeah, I hear you. I think it's just different. I also think the interactiveness of games now are much more of a draw, like an attraction, because like you know my kids when they play video games they're competing and playing with people in like Brazil or like somewhere across the world, and obviously we didn't have that. Like you literally would have to play with the person. Like you'd have to actually have a friend over to like compete with somebody in player one, player two. So I think that's also something that is a driver for kids with video games. But I'm also noticing now too, like even like on our phones, like I don't know if you've seen the advertisements for, I don't know what the name of the game is, but every celebrity has been advertising this game on your phone. It's like
Monopoly
Royal,
Go?
no, it's like Royal Kingdom. Or
Oh, it
something.
sucks too. I've
And
got
like you have to like
It-
release the pressure before you're
and
like,
none of them look like, or actually, none. The ads are totally better than the actual game. They don't line up. It's really, and you know, again, it's also now that the era of you have to pay your way through a game.
Yeah,
So
you
you
have to pay.
to be able to get past certain things, they want to sell
Well,
you.
that makes sense because if you really think about it, in order to play back then, you had to be able to afford the gaming system and afford the games, right? It was kind of the same when you had the Wii. You had to buy the games. I mean, we had all the damn. I still have all these Wii games in my coffee table. I'm like, well, we don't even have a Wii. But nowadays, you don't need that because you can play on your phone.
Right.
And so they have to get you to pay somewhere because how are they going to make their money? So yeah, you've got to do that. Oh, there's an issue with YouTube.
Just now able to log in. Hi. Sorry, we're doing what we can.
Yes, but you can always watch it back. That's the thing. That's a good thing. We can,
Yeah.
trial and error, but we can
We're,
watch it back.
we're entertaining on tape.
Oh, we are. I watched one of the other episodes and I was laughing a lot. I have in my bag, 'cause,
Okay,
you
here we
know,
go.
I brought my bag and I got a new themed bag, right? So I couldn't not include Rainbow Bright,
Right.
who is my husband's favorite.
And we have to deal with your
Oh, and my shirt.
as well.
I don't know if you can see my shirt.
Shira, the princess
Yes.
of power.
And she's on her horse. I forgot the horse's name. But yes, I wore this special. All right. So we got Simon.
The ultimate memory F you up game. Simon didn't talk.
Does now?
Okay.
All right. What's yours?
I had the Rubik's Cube. I was gonna bring in, I have a Intellivision emulator that has all the Intellivision games in it. I have a PS3. We have, literally we have an entire like
Oh, Simon's yelling.
Simon's-
It's my turn.
Let's see.
And it's Slinky.
What do I have? Let's see.
And you guys bought Dennis a giant Slinky for his birthday last week. He had
Yes.
we had a big thing for Dennis because he's kind of a big dill, and it was a pickle themed birthday. And they got him a giant Slinky. It's no joke. You could probably fit around your dog, nose and neck. It's huge.
Okay,
Like a
but there is a story behind that, and
Yeah.
so Dennis had problems with small cheap Slinkies, and they never worked
this
right.
is a legit one though. This one's metal.
And it was what walks downstairs alone or in Paris and makes a slinkety sound. A spring, a marvelous thing. Everyone knows it's Slinky. That was one of those ads, right?
Yes.
So and we would watch them, and they literally walk down the stairs, and then we'd get one,
And it would never walk up.
and it would always get like 3 steps down and just go.
Yeah, I mean the box says a walking spring toy. Okay.
And gravity's an amazing thing. Kinetic energy is an amazing thing. So I got Dennis. It's this big around.
Yeah, it could go around a small dog's neck. It's giant. It's massive.
And it works, but it's actually too big. So it will get like 6 steps down and then just
Yeah,
start
we-
skipping like 3 or 4 steps at a time, but it still makes it all the way down to the bottom. So success with that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe you guys tried it out and it worked. I was actually shocked. That was the first thing he did. He was ripped it out of the box and said, "Let's try it upstairs." It doesn't work.
Yeah. But that was like a redemption moment because, Slinky,
The little baby Slinky didn't go down.
Slinky did not.
I never liked the plastic ones though. The plastic ones always got freaking tangled and like.
Yeah, they were rainbow colored, but they always broke.
Can we talk briefly about? I know we want to play trivia, but can we talk briefly on how some of those toys, because of the metal pieces that they had, they then kind of modified them for today's generation. So like that phone that you has to have had the phone, a little cord, and it was in Toy Story.
Yeah.
Right.
The little pull toy.
The pull toy that was like a phone.
Yeah.
Right. Well, in the 80s, do you recall what it was made of? Because I do.
Wood.
Wood. Solid wood.
Solid painted wood.
Yes. So if you pick that up, you didn't like your little brother that much and hit him in the head.
No. My little brother hit me in the
Oh,
head with that thing. So yeah, he would swing it around a bit.
But now it's still around, that toy. That toy is still around. It's just not made of wood. It's made of very lightweight plastic.
All right, so we're gonna do a show on dangerous toys. That's going on our
Oh,
list
okay.
now,
Okay.
because we have
Alrighty.
toys that were taken away from us because they were
Oh,
dangerous.
dangerous games, because I remember gym class and dodgeball. Okay. All right, dangerous games and toys. All right, let's try this trivia thing out because it's 8:24, 8:25. My attention span's not so great. So let's try this trivia thing. And you'll probably beat me anyway. So
Right, I'm sharing screen. This is
Okay.
this you're seeing actually our version of it, which is allowing us to and let me explain. First of all, this is OpenAI is generating all the questions. So if I go down, I have to actually be over the screen. If I go down, we have a whole bunch of generated special. They even come up with a title and a description, So let's choose something kind of fun.
Something easy because.
How about a steel magnolia?
Okay, we could do that. We could do still magnet. And it's just you and I that are
Right now,
competing right now?
it's
Okay.
just us, or yeah, probably Lisa if she can join. So again, every week it will come up with a new title and a new description. This is Blossoms of Steel, a Steel Magnolias Challenge.
Okay.
The ultimate trivia game for connoisseurs of the cherished cinematic classic. I love that. If you think you know about Ruby's Beauty Salon,
Mhm.
beloved women of,
Chickapin, Louisiana.
yeah, then grab a seat. Let's go. All right, I'm gonna set it off. So here we go.
Hey,
No, she was a social worker.
why did I think she was a nurse? She works at a hospital.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Okay.
So there are 10 questions every time, and it does keep track so you can win over time. Because you will be playing against us as a team,
Okay.
and you also playing individually.
It's A.
Oh, we MacGyvered that question. Look at that.
I'm a fast reader, so that's how I win
I know,
trivia
and
all the
that's-
time because I.
And it
I
doesn't matter
read
how
very
fast
quickly.
you answer. If you're
You
tied,
get more points.
you get more points. Yes.
Yeah, I read. I'm a speed reader. You know that.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I lose.
She knows more than I do, but
I think it's B. Yes.
wicked smart. You wicked smart. Throw in my Boston accent. You wicked smart.
I try to be. So next week, sign up for the website. You can play along with us. It will keep track of your scores. There is yeah, okay. You get it. We're having fun.
Okay, let's go. I want to see the next question.
It
Oh.
waits so everybody can play. Ooh. 89, I believe.
It's 87, but I don't know.
Right, we'll go with 87.
No, 89.
89.
We're right. See?
I'm gonna sip my wine.
I don't like waiting. It's definitely not a part-time bakery.
Oh,
What?
I never picked up on that.
It's part of her house.
Yeah.
How's it? That's not part of a renovated church. It's part of her house.
It must be true. But
It's
now,
the back of her house.
now we're gonna have to
Oh,
watch the movie
my
all
God.
over again.
We saw it in the theaters.
Okay, what? How's it? And now originally described in the Cheyenne Reserve, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone's asking, can you try another game?
What do you mean that?
I don't know.
What do you mean try another game?
She decides not to marry. See, it's the only thing that they
She collapses,
at her wedding.
evidently.
She doesn't collapse at her own wedding.
We're gonna have to rewatch the show.
Maybe it's based on the book or the play, because this isn't right. She didn't collapse at her wedding.
Lisa wants to play another one. Okay. Which game? Oh, that has to be.
Laughter through tears is my favorite emotion. It's either Clary or Truby.
Okay, I'll go Clary. Oh,
It was Truby. I know it wasn't Weezer.
no.
My favorite character, by the way.
What is the name of Shelby's child?
Oh, Jackson Jr.
You're the MVP of MTV era smarts.
Okay, I don't know if I'd go that far, but that's weird. Okay. Question 9. That was so we get question 10.
The final question.
The final question, but I don't like some of these questions. It had not about the movie because there's no way. She didn't collapse at her wedding. She was not going to marry him.
Well, that's got to be Weezer.
I remember. Yeah, that's Weezer. I'm not crazy. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years.
You brought the thunder like He-Man, or She-Ra in this case. The lightning like She-Ra.
She-Ra.
Now, at the end, we can go basically to, it'll actually take us through and show us all the answers.
And how much of our time response time is cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's not going to be great until we get to play with the audience.
Yes, which is why we need you to sign up for the website.
Yeah.
And then when I end the game, it will announce the winners, which in this case,
This is only us because we were only playing together.
yep. And then if I show the winners,
Oh, cool.
we won.
I was expecting like a little like platform where you had like first place and like a little trophy because that's what they do with the games with the students.
Right. I will work on that.
I want a trophy.
That's an enhancement.
I know. I want a trophy. I want a medal.
You are not a millennial. You don't get a participation.
If I get first place and I'm a winner of the game, I played by myself.
Look what's right there. Look.
Winning team, yes. Okay. Although we didn't really do that great because the total was 40 points, but only got 5 right each. So you can definitely take your chances and play against us when we start next week because clearly we aren't as smart as we think we are.
No, and again, it's learning. So it gets all of the results and it gets harder every time. Which is
Great. Can't wait for next week. All right. Well, shall we sign off?
yeah, we will see you next week.
We're going
And
to talk
then,
about immigration. Going to have a couple guests talking more to the immigrant or the child of an immigrant experience more than I could speak to. So,
and why the ERA amendment kind of fizzled out and why it's relevant now. So we will see you next week. Thank you for joining us.
bye.
Bye.
Or not bye.